Hello, this is a tutorial on how to use the Coalesce platform. This is the welcome page. First, type in your unique user code and then click Submit. You can click on View Projects to see all your ongoing projects or Create Project to create a new project. I'll create a new project. When you create a project, you first see this project launch page. This page is intended to gather context to generate an initial draft of questions using AI. The page asks 8 questions. Some of them are optional. In the app bar on top, you can save your responses whenever you want, and you can also access the help guide here. The first question asks about the decision that needs to be made. Let's assume that I answer it really concisely. After writing an initial response, you can click on the Verify Question 1 button below to check your response. This feature generates suggestions for how to improve your response to help the AI create better questions for you. These suggestions are completely optional, so you can ignore any of them. I'll go ahead and answer the rest of the questions except for question number 6. When you're ready to submit your project information and create an initial draft of questions, you can click on the Create Project button. Before creating the draft, we make sure that you answered all the questions that aren't marked as optional, and also offer suggestions for questions that haven't been verified yet and might need additional details. Here you can see that I have one error because I didn't answer question number 6, which is required. I also have 2 suggestions for question number 5, which I can choose to address or ignore. I'll go ahead and answer question 6. And then I'll click on the Create Project button again. Since there are no more errors, you see this loading screen. It typically takes around 30 seconds to 1 minute to generate an initial draft since we're using a very large prompt. This page is the main project page. It is currently showing the AI-generated draft, which in this example is a small group conversation guide. In this page, you can edit the sections and questions and access some more targeted AI features that I will demo shortly. The Project Overview button on the app bar allows you to access the project information that you entered in the project launch page. You can also save the project details via the Save button whenever you want. And you can access the help guide on any page of the platform via this question mark icon button. You can edit the project title in the app bar. For example, I'll rename this conversation guide to Conversation on AI's Role in K-12 Education. The left side of the page shows the overall time estimate at the top and the list of sections. You can use the left panel to navigate to different sections of the conversation guide. You can also click on this drawer icon to collapse the section list and increase your workspace. The right side of the page displays the information in each section. Each section consists of a series of text or question cells. Each cell is labeled with text or question, so it's easy to differentiate between the 2 types of cells. In addition, we display an avatar icon in each cell to indicate whether the content is AI-generated versus human-generated. Currently, all the cells have a robot avatar because this draft was generated using AI. Now let's explore the different edit operations that are possible. You can add a new section to the bottom of the conversation guide by clicking on the Add icon at the bottom of the left panel. Section headers can be edited, so let's rename the section I just created to Adapting to AI. Entire sections can be moved around by dragging and dropping sections in the left panel. So let's move this earlier on in the conversation. So now the section we just created is section 5 of the conversation guide. We can add some content to our new section by clicking on this add button at the bottom of the section. So let's add a new text cell and then edit the text to add an introduction to the section. Old text and question cells have time estimates that can be edited. We can increase the time estimate of the cell to 3 minutes, and you can see that the section level time estimate also updated to 3 minutes. Now I can add a question cell and then edit the text of the question. Question cells have this optional description field that can be edited. Let's add something there for our internal notes. The platform offers 3 types of AI assistance at a question level. First, you can click on the magnifying glass icon to check a question for potential issues in readability, bias, or specificity. Here you can see that all 3 areas were flagged for this question. You can click through the tabs to view customized AI-generated explanations for why the question was flagged in those areas. You can also expand this dropdown to view some alternative questions. Each suggestion has a rationale for which areas may be improved. So I'll click on the Choose Question button to replace the original question that we wrote. The second type of a question-level AI assistance is the ability to generate rewardings for a question. You can click on the light bulb icon here to enable this feature. Here you will see 3 rewardings for the original question that you can look through. You can also type in a specific request here to generate more targeted rewardings for a question. Let's say you want to generate a rewarding that is more connected with teaching methods. You can type your request and then click on the Create Question button. You can view the generated question and then click on the Recreate Question to generate as many alternatives as you would like. I'll click on the Choose Question button to accept this rewarding, which will replace the question text. Now I'll add another question to the end of the section, and I'll change this response format from open-ended to close-ended, and then edit the question text. You can add some response categories by clicking on the Add Option button. You can move response categories by clicking on these drag indicator icons. So I'll move lesson planning to the top. And I'll also delete parent-teacher communication by clicking on this X icon. Let's say you want to change the response format of this question from closed to open. You can do that by clicking on this dropdown and selecting the open option. This triggers the third type of question-level AI assistance, which uses AI to help you take an initial stab at converting the question to a new response format. You can always edit the question text or switch it back to the original response format. To move a text or question cell, click on the drag icon to the right of a cell and just drag and drop the cell to the location you want. So we can move this above the previous question we made. So now the closed-ended question is on top of the open-ended questions. You can also duplicate cells by clicking on this menu icon and selecting the duplicate option. So now we have 2 open-ended questions that are the same. Cells can be deleted by clicking on the trash can icon and then confirming the deletion. So we're back to 2 questions in this section. And lastly, entire sections can be deleted by clicking on the menu icon and then selecting the delete option. So now that section we created is no longer there. The last type of AI assistance I wanted to demo can be accessed by clicking on the topic analysis button in the app bar. The topic analysis page provides a bigger picture analysis of all your questions. Based on the project context, AI generates a list of potentially relevant topics and then classifies the questions into those topics. You can rerun the topic classifications anytime you want by clicking on this button. The central feature of this page is this bar graph, which shows the distribution of questions for each topic. You can hover over the bar graph to see some AI-generated topics like concerns about AI-assisted student work and ethical considerations of AI use in education. The solid colors have one or more questions, and any color blocks that have this dashed pattern are topics with 0 questions, and the gray color represents all of the unclassified questions. Click on the Edit Topics button below the bar graph to modify the topics that you want to pay attention to. So as an example, I'll delete like this specific AI applications desired or posed by parents and teachers. And I'll also delete like the general perceptions of AI in education. And I'll add a topic on AI and student creativity. And you can click on the Update Topic Analysis button to rerun the topic classifications. You can see that the bar graph now has the new topic, AI and student creativity, that we added, which has 1 question. You can click into any of the topics in the bar graph to view the questions under the topic and also generate AI suggestions. Click on the Suggest Deletions button to get suggestions on questions you can remove in a topic. You can expand the suggestions and view the questions that can be deleted. Each suggestion also comes with the customized rationale for why a question can be removed. I will accept the suggestion and delete this question. And you can see that the amount of questions in this topic went down from 3 to 2 questions. Now I'll click into one of the topics that have 0 questions, which is the AI and student creativity topic. And I'll click on the Suggest Additions button to view questions that you could add to a topic. Expand on the suggestions to view new questions that you could add to a topic. And in addition to the new questions, you can see a customized rationale for how this question relates to the topic you selected. You can also see how much time a question would add to the overall time and a recommendation for which section of the conversation guide to add the question to. Say I want to have this question. I'll edit which section it belongs to. And then I'll click on the Add Question button. And you can see now that the AI and student creativity topic has 1 question. And we can see the question listed below right here. You can edit questions in the topic analysis page without having to navigate back and forth to the main project page. So for this question, I'll decrement the time estimate to 8 and then click Save to save the edits I just made. You can click on the flag icon to modify the list of topics that a question is assigned to. Then we can click Save. Lastly, you can delete questions in the topic analysis page through the trash can icons. With that, let's go back to the main project page. Once you're done with all of the questions, you can click on the Finish button in the app bar and view the final list of sections and questions you created. From there, you can click on the Save and Exit button, which saves the project and navigates to your user page. You can see the project that you just finished creating, along with all of the other projects you've created in the past. You can click on one of the open buttons to load a project, or click on the menu icon to delete a project. And feel free to create more projects by clicking on the Create Project button. This concludes the Coalesce tutorial. As a reminder, you can always access this video and more concise tips by clicking on the Help icon located throughout the platform in the upper right corner.